Okay, this is going to be a videotape on the different types of notation software that you guys can download. I'm going to start off with Finale Notepad, and of course I would just type in Finale Notepad. Actually, you can see that it comes right up. Finale Notepad, a free download. We're going to go to that web page. You do want to make sure that it's Finale that you're grabbing, so it's Finale Music. And you'll see it says download for free. It's on different combinations, different platforms, Windows and Macintosh. I'm on a Mac, but you obviously would choose your own. I'd hit the Mac, for me anyway, and then it would allow me to download. And of course you would do that. Now I've already done that, and so that would be the way that you would go. I'm already logged in. I am a Finale user. So what it will do is probably ask you to become a new user. You just give them your email if you don't mind. I mean, that's the way to get the free software. And it works great. And so what I'm going to do now is we're going to assume that you've already done your downloading either with Mac or Windows. And they basically look about the same. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my version of Finale Notepad. I do have the larger versions, but I'm actually using Notepad, so I'm using the same version that people would download. So here's Finale Notepad. Come on. And then, oh, I got an idea. I understand now what's going on. I'm going to get out of it because I was already in it. I'm going to go back into it so that you can see what it looks like when it opens up, because it opens up like that. It says serial number. You don't have to worry about that. Just say remind me later, because you most likely are not registering it. And then continue, because you're not getting any other stuff. And then here's the first important dialogue. So for title, I'm just putting Music 106 Project. Composer, put your name if you want. Well, actually you should, because I want to know who it is. Portrait's the best way to keep it. You go to Next. And the best ones to check, instead of the blank staff, is to go to Keyboards and Piano, Harpsichord, Organ. I did do a couple of things where I did it with organ, the organ sound, but you choose which one. I'm going to choose Piano for now. Piano. And then you have to add it in. So you hit the add, go to Next. Now you've just have to pick the time signature. 4/4 is the default, so I am going to put it in 4/4. I'm going to go ahead and just be in C major. You can select keys, everybody. It does give you minors and majors, because the reason that it does because it'll create different sets of chords for the keys. And then of course you can cursor through the different keys. If I want to go sharps, flats, or the other direction. I'm going to default to C, everybody. And then measures. I'm going to put 8 measures because that's what we've been doing in our projects. You can put however many you need. So then that starts to set up your document. We hit finish, and then there you're going to have 8 bars that you can see here on the screen. Now the next bit is that you're going to see playback controls up here for listening to it back. A toolbar here for different types of inputting. It defaults to simple input, which is, it's called the simple entry tool. And then these are the different durations of pitch: quarter note, half note, whole note. It does not have the rests up there. We probably won't need it, but if you did need rests, you usually just go up to where it says window, and you can click on the rests template too, so that will come up as well. So we're going to just do simple notes. Now here's the one thing you want to kind of take into consideration to do the stem directions that I've been asking you to do. At the very bottom of the screen of your page, there's an area that's called, you can see my cursor now going to down here to layers, and it has layer 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we're going to use layers 1 and 2 because they default to different stem directions. That's the easiest way to do it. In my bigger program, I do use layer 3 and 4, but I can designate what to do with those. And in this program, you don't have control over the stem direction of those two. So I'm going to go start with layer 1 because that's going to be your soprano. And I'm going to go to the playback controls here, and I am going to hit, instead of 120 for tempo, I'm going to go to about 45. That's pretty slow, but that way we can hear the music easily. Also, I like to view the document pretty large so I can see it. You go under View, and right now it's at 100%, and I'm going to zoom it to 200%. It's really entirely up to you if you guys want to do that, and then you can move around in the page. So right now we are on layer 1, and I'm going to use quarter notes in the simple note entries. And what will happen is, hopefully with your audio on, you're going to hear the pitches from the piano when you play it. Now I'm going to do just simple entry. I'm going to start with my cursor over C, and it will play. As you'll hear that. And then I'm going to go to D. I'm going to just put my notes in. I put a simple little phrase there. It defaults to the stem direction going down until I put another voice in the second voice. And if you've already got it written, then great, because then you can just put the notes in as you input it, and I think that would be best, rather the way that you've written it. I'm going to go to layer 2 now, and I'm going to put in the alto, and you'll see the stem direction will completely change. I'm going to harmonize these as C's and G chords. I'm going to do a deceptive kind of a sound cadence to an A minor. So here's a G chord. I'm keeping the alto pretty darn simple. I am going to go up to an A because it's an A chord, A minor chord. So notice that the stem directions change. They do have different colors to show that which voice that you're working with, and that you are working with a different voice. Now I'm going to add the bass. I'm going to keep it on layer 2. Okay? And I'm going to add the bass. And that's going to be C. I'll do a G again, and then to an A, because I want an A minor. Now I'm going to add the tenor voice. I'm going to go back to layer 1. And when I put that tenor in, the stem directions will automatically default to the opposite directions. I got a C chord first, so I'm going to put an E in there, and you can see the stem direction already changed. I'll use a D here for the G chord. I'm still on a G chord here, and I'm going to go to a C here because it's part of an A minor chord. So there you have soprano, alto, tenor, and bass, stem directions going proper direction. If I wanted to add eighth notes, all I would have done is turned some of them into eighth notes. So for example, in layer 1, I can go to this note here, and you'll see that I've got it pressed. I've now highlighted it. And what I can do is, instead of keeping that note here, I'm going to go to eighth notes, and then I'm going to start on that note, and you'll see that it changed, and I'm going to put an additional eighth note in, and it will go in. So that's how you get eighth notes in if you want to add them in. You probably should do that from the very beginning, but I did that later. Now, the nice feature is, if you want to hear it, I always default to hitting this little icon because it brings me all the way to the beginning. If I hit play, I'll now be able to hear what I put in. And it will keep going. If you have more music, obviously you'll have more that it will play. And that's kind of nice when it plays it back, because then you can hear if you made a mistake or not. Now, this will print this way. And one additional thing that I want you to do is I do want you to create a file that is MIDI so that we can play it in class. So you'll go under File, Save As, And actually, you do want to save the project too. So you're going to save it as a regular document. I'll go ahead and just save it as Music 106. And then, in addition to that, I'm going to save it as a what we call a MIDI file. That will now turn it into a file that I want to use so that we can hear the music and I can create a audio file for you. So that's a standard MIDI file. That's what you're going to click. You'll notice that it changes here to MID. You save it as a MIDI file, and then those two files, the finale file and the MIDI file, I would like you to email to me so that I can then turn it into an audio file that we can listen to. At any rate, that's how you do Finale Notepad. Next, I'm going to go to one of the other ones, Sibelius and or Muse. So that will be the next video. Okay, next I'm going to go ahead and go up and get the Muse software. So I'll do a search for Muse. Muse Score is the name, so find Muse Score. Muse Score official site. And that takes you where it says free download. Now, this is interesting. It says free download Mac El Capitan. So, well, I'm not sure if this works for PC. I'm hoping that it does, but maybe this is just a Mac program. At any rate, I have downloaded it, and so obviously you would just click that, and it is a free program. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open my version of it, Muse Score, in my applications. And so this is what the default page looks like. And I just go right straight to Create New Score. Of course, you got title again, so Music 106 Project. And of course you can put your name there as a composer. And then go to Next, very similar to the other program. I'm going to choose what's called General, just choose instruments. So I'm going to click that. And I'm going to go with, let's try vocals on this one, it's because it's interesting. You hit vocals, you hit it, and it shows you all the different combinations that you can get. Let's see here, voice. Oh yeah, this one's not going to work as well as Sibelius, so I am not going to do that. I'm going to go to keyboards and hit piano, and I'm going to add. So we add it. It'll give me a grand staff. We go next. It will then tell you what key you want. I'm going to keep it in C here, everybody. C major is the default. I do want to click tempo because that's going to affect the way my file is going to play. And I'm going to put here, we put 45 before, that's what I'm going to put here. Okay, and then next. The default is 4/4. We're going to keep it in 4/4. There are no pickups. I'm not going to use a pickup. And then you can put on here how many measures. I'm putting 8. And then we go to finish. So I'll move this so we can see it a little bit better. So again, you can see all your 8 measures. And what I'm going to do is, I really do like to have the view a little bit larger. So here you can see 100%. I'm going to move that and turn that into 200%. So it's really, really large. Now, the way this program works, it does have the same thing, layers 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to use 1 and 2 for everything, because again, that works better in this particular program here. Or it might be 1, 2, and 4. I just can't remember in these different programs. At any rate, the way to input notes in this program is you actually have to go up and go to Notes up here on the very, very top. Hit Notes and put Note Input. At that point, you're able to put the notes that you want in, and you'll see here quarter notes and 16th notes and so on. I've got it. The default is always a quarter note. I'm going to do exactly the same set of notes. You'll notice there's not even a stem connected here, but I'm going to go ahead and put the notes in C major, and it will play it. Okay, and I'm going to do layer 2. I'm going to go up to these numbers here, and I'm going to hit the next one. I'm going to do the same voices, and you'll see the stems change. We'll go to A here. And I'm going to do layer number 4, voice number 4 for the bass. I'll go C, and then G, G, then La. And then I'm going to actually go back to 1 for the tenor. Later on, you're going to be able to control all the different voices, but I think this might be the better move to make. And so I'm going to write the notes I want here. I want the E, and then to the D, another D, and then to a Do, C. There we go. So then you can see all the stem directions are correct. And the way that this plays is you're playing information and cursor is right up here. I always hit this rewind to the forward position, hit the play button, we'll listen to it. All right, good. Now, and then you got to hit stop because it's just going to keep on going if you don't. That now has all the voices that we want. I did want to mention, if you want to turn a note into a sharp or a flat, here's your sharps and your flats. In this program here, let's say I'm going to go back to notes and we're going to do add. I just want to make sure that I've got note input. That's the only way you can see the note if you put that in. I'm going to hit this C, and then if I hit the sharp sign, it turns it into C sharp. And that's the way that you're going to change the notes if you want to do that. So let me finish this chord off. I'm going to go to A major. So now you're going to hear an A major. I'm going to just stick with the same notes here. And with the alto, I think I'm going to go up to a E instead. I'm going to use that number 1 voice. So now let's listen to what it sounds like if I play it back, and you will hear that sharp. All right, we can hear it. So that's the way that you put in accidentals. Then for you to send me that MIDI file, you go up to the file and it says, this is going to be a little bit different. You will want to save your project, and so that it'll have a proper name and you can start it up again, but go to export. When you go to export, you can see here mine's already defaulted to this. I think yours will probably default to, well, any number one of those, but MIDI file is what you want, standard MIDI file. It doesn't actually allow you to do some of these. You have to actually purchase it, I believe. So standard MIDI file, and then you save it, and you will have a project up there that has the MIDI file marker on it that allows it to come into me as a MIDI file. So you would send that to me. In fact, you can send me the Muse Score too, because now I do have that program. So next I'm going to talk about Sibelius. Okay, here's the tutorial on Sibelius. I'm going to go ahead and look it up. Sibelius. Actually named after the composer, Jean Sibelius from Finland. Let's see here. Sibelius. And you'll see that comes up. Actually, you got to sort of look at it a little bit here. Let's see here. You don't want to go straight to those things. You want to go to the official site. So there's the official site. And if you go to Sibelius itself, clicking on Sibelius, oh actually that's right, this is the default page. Go here where it says free trial. You click on free trial, which is a process I've obviously already have done. You give them all this information. If you're okay with that, you get a 30-day trial. 30 days free, which should give you plenty of time to do our little project and then decide if you actually like this program. I've been playing with it and I'm really impressed with it. I've been a Finale user for a long time, so it might be nice for me to know both anyway, since both of these, Sibelius and Finale, are the most important ones being used by musicians today. So then I'm going to go ahead and, since I've already downloaded it, I'm going to go ahead and get the, open up the file. Let's see here, Sibelius. Oh, when it opens up to it, boy, it presents you with this pretty loud little, you'll hear it. I'm on the trial, I haven't activated, but let me turn this down a bit. That's how it opens up. Okay, first thing you're going to see, everybody, is that you're going to see blank page, and that's where we actually should start. Just let's make it blank because then you control everything. You click blank, then you come up to this dialog box. This on the right has everything to do with your document. Yes, letter size, portrait, yes. House style, I would leave it alone. That's kind of the style of the engraving that they use, and they have all kinds of different ones, but I would stick with that. Now, here's something that you might want to, and you will have to check this out since it's blank. It says change instruments. You have your choices, all these different instruments to use. It defaults to piano, but this one I am going to try to go to the singers because it does give you a choir, an entire ensemble. So I'm going to go down to singers and I'm going to hit choir. Then you have to add it to the score. I add it, you'll see now that they are ready to go in. You hit OK, and now you have your grand staff, which is what we need. Now, on this right side, you have all the different ways of dealing with the document itself. It does default to 4/4, so I am clicking 4/4 just to make sure. Then we go a little bit lower. I'm continuing to lower it. We don't have a pickup bar, so I'm not going to click that. Tempo, I want it pretty slow so we can hear it correctly. I'm going to put Adagio. Metronome mark I'm going to click on and hit 45. That will force the playback to be slow. If I keep on going down the cursor, I can choose my keys. The default is C, so I'm not going to choose any one of these. It does allow you to go to the different keys, major, minor, and so on with flat and sharp. I'm going to go ahead and just stick with C. Then you keep going down. Title, of course, you write your information. Your name if you want. Well, no, your name you have to. I'm sorry. Freed. Wow. Okay. And then we go to create. And you would create it. The document now is created. I'm going to pull it over here so you can see it a little bit easier. Now this particular program here doesn't have a lot up on the top. It has everything here in the the dialog boxes are all up in this area. Oh, and I did find out that if you want to add, because here you're seeing that you only have a default of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The other program asked you how many measures you wanted. This one actually does not do that. And so what you have to do is you have to go out into, I believe, layout here. And to find out how many staves that you want to put in here. Somewhere on here it shows you how to extend the amount of staves here. Let's see, I hit this. Let's see. It's not there. It's going to be in a different place. I'm going to go to Home. There it is, add or remove. I went to Home, and it says add or remove. So I'm going to go, that's removing instruments. So let's see here. I'm going to add measures. So I'm going to go to bars right there. Well, at least you've seen the process. It's so different on every one of these programs. Sorry about that. So it says add bars. I'm going to click on that. It will allow me to add more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then one more. 8. So now I've got the 8. Now I'm going to go back to note input. All of these are kind of laid out right here. You'll see that. I'll show you my cursor up in this area here. Now, in order to put the notes in, you have to at least hit this cursor. It says input notes. It's the only way you can get notes to appear. Also, there is a keypad, and you got to make sure you can find that. I'm moving it closer here so you can see, because it does have the 1, 2, 3, and 4, which we're going to need, and what notes you're doing, and sharps and flats and all of that. So, and this is where you do rests and all your other information here. Everything's kind of there. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put those notes in. This seems pretty big. It seems large enough, although if I go down here, I can make the page look bigger. I'm going to increase it just a little bit. Okay, there we go. So now, which is down below here. So I'm on layer 1. That's always your default. I'm going to go ahead and put the notes in that we did before. And of course you will hear the choir sound now. All right. I'm going to put layer 2, which is my alto. Remember, you can do, I hope that you write this down first, because it's a little bit easier to do that than try to go back and fix things up. Then all you have to do is just input. And there are ways to put it in with keyboard and all of that. Those are really great ways to do it. And I usually do it that way because I can do it fast. But I'm assuming that the simplest way and the basic way is going to be what you'll want to start with. Then I do layer 4. That's going to be the bass. I'm adding the bass. Whoa, I didn't like that note. So you notice I made a mistake in the notation. As long as that is highlighted, it does show up. So if I want to move it up, I'll use an up arrow. I'm going to hit the up arrow on my keyboard, and it just moved it up to G, which is kind of nice that you can do that. If you want to delete the note, you'll see that it's highlighted, and I'll hit you'll hit a cursor that will just delete the note itself. You can click on delete. I'm going to get the next note, and then I'm going to go up to the A. Now, with both of these programs, what I've been doing is, with Muse and Sibelius, because I was having trouble with the rest kind of they kept on showing up, I go back to using voice number 1 for the tenor. With more advanced things, there'll be ways that we can change all that, but I'm just doing it so that it won't be difficult for you guys to change the stem directions. So as soon as I hit this note, it changes the stem direction of the bass. And then, now I have all the stem directions going the way I want, and I actually have a choir doing it. In this program, Sibelius, to play it, I have to go up to the part up on the top here that says play. I always hit the cursor to go to the beginning, to move playback. You hit play, and we should hear it. Okay, nice, and it keeps on going until I stop it. So I'll stop it, and again, just to show you how to change a note, I'm in layer 1 right now. I'm going to go put a C in here. Actually, I'm going to hit the sharp sign, and then when they're both highlighted, that means whatever note I put in is going to show up as a sharp. And so my next note will be a D sharp if I hit a D. Oops, it wasn't, sorry, because it did take that off. So I'm going to put that cursor on there with the sharp, click the note again, and it will it will default to that. Now that's kind of interesting that it did that. I'm going to click delete. I'm going to click on this note and delete it. I'm going to go to a sharp and it will turn it into a D sharp. There we go. That's a cleaner. And that's how you put your sharps or your flats, and it will play it back correctly that way. Now, here's what's interesting about Sibelius, kind of nice, is if you want to make a sound file, you can actually make a sound file with these choir sounds in it. What you do is you go back to File, go all the way up to File, and it will show you all the information that you have here. Saving, you do want to save your file. It shows you actually a smaller version of what your page looks like. These are real nice features. You're going to go to Export, go all the way down to Export, and the default for exporting is actually going to be an MP3 file. So it's going to be a file of your audio, which is great. It defaults to exporting from the start, so no problem there. Or you should leave everything just like default. The file name, of course, is now going to be your name of your saved file, but then MP3. And when you hit export, it's going to export audio wherever you send it to, on your desktop. And now that file is going to be the sound of the choir, which you then can send to me as an MP3 file. So that's all of the different free software that I've checked out. I remember there was one other one that's I can't recall right now, but I think that with the choices of these three, and two of them, Sibelius and Finale, being kind of your major ones, those might be your best choices. I was very impressed with Muse Score as well. Looks really good. So anyway, I hope that this is helpful as a tutorial for you for notation.